Welcome to My Creative Corner 3, a podcast about quilting, creativity, and life in a northern town. Feel free to leave comments on the show notes at mycreativecorner3.wordpress.com, and let's keep the conversation going online. My name is Vicki, and welcome to the podcast. Hello, everyone, and I want to say welcome back to the podcast. This has been a week where I realized that everything is a WIP, or a work in progress. I have got lots of irons in the fire, and I feel like I'm not getting them done. And then I started, in on, it's the dog days of summer. Let me tell you, it's been very, very hot. And where I'm at in this Our Creative Souls edition is everything is a WIP. I'm stuck on making my macrame necklace. I'm not sure how to seamlessly add cord and to finish it beautifully so that it has a clasp. I need to take the time to do it, and this wasn't the week. I have a work in progress of a macrame wall hanging, and I learned a lot in making it. It is something that I'm going to keep for myself, and I have to dip dye it yet. It's a work in progress. I finished a bracelet for myself, the Shambhala bracelet, and it needs to be trimmed down so that it doesn't have cords that are for adjusting or dangling too much for me to actually wear it. Well, that's a work in progress too. Oh my goodness. How did all this happen? So what did I do? I cast on a single skein, one skein wonder shawl in purple. And I've knit a few rows on it most days of the week. And yes, that's yet again is another work in progress. I realize that, I got to have several works in progress at once. Do you like that? I tend to have lots of things going at once. And for some reason this summer, once I quilted all of the quilts that were in my stack of my things to do, I started a couple of other ones too. So I have several works in progress of quilts. But I needed things this summer that were simple and faster to having an end result. And so far, I'm finding that I started several simple projects, but I'm kind of stalling out here in July because it's been so stinking hot. And I've just taken a lot more time to be very leisurely about it and enjoying the process and enjoying the thinking and the discovery of how to do something such as the macrame necklace that I'm stuck on. I could look it up in 5 minutes, and I have looked up a couple of ideas, but I haven't made a decision. And sometimes because of the type of work I do in healthcare and just daily life, I like to make leisurely decisions, and that keeps everything in the work in progress category. I'm kind of finding this as a metaphor in life. I've never lived in a place that was complete in remodeling. Never lived in a new build. I've always lived in old homes or things that had other people live before me. So, even your home is usually, even if it's a brand new build, because I've talked to a couple people with brand new builds, and everything seems to usually have projects going. And so today I got thinking, wow, how stupid of me not to realize this before my 50s, that life is really a work in progress. I had some unexpected things happen, and my house is a work in progress. It's been a work in progress for the 18 years I've lived here. And this winter, winter does funny things to my thinking. I go, well, why have we lived here this long, and it should be finished, and we should be sitting on our laurels and enjoying all the fruits of our labor. And, the remodel we did in the kitchen was about 15, 16 years ago, and it needs sprucing up again, and in my brain it's like, it was so much work, it should be done. Well, kind of like a lot of the quilts I have, there's so much work They should be done. They've taken me years to finish. A couple of them, I'm not exaggerating. And I still have a binding to do, or I still have threads to bury, and I still have little details on the finishing because, they're works in progress. I'm a work in progress. I'm always learning and changing. And so I had a very big, unexpected WIP come along. The phenomenal news is, my youngest is getting married. So as they're setting up a home to get ready for their new life and wrapping up college, they needed furniture. So that's cool. I have plenty I've been trying to give away for years, believe me. And in my craft room, because I don't sew in there, it's my creative studio, I call it. I sew in another room adjoining it in the dining room. But this room had a corner desk that we bought when we had a home office. And it's really nice. It's still in good shape. And I thought, it was suggested that we just put it to the road and let it get picked up by someone or throw it away. And no, I really like it. We did get rid of the 1970s metal desk because it was broken. And we got rid of all the unsafe furniture. But I had an old dining room table and a few oddball chairs and a couple of other pieces that are going. And then I heard the kids say that they needed a desk for their little room. And I'm like, well, I have the perfect thing. Please take this desk. And then I realized, yeah, they're taking it great. You should go to my Instagram feed. I showed a picture of what it looked like before I took all my craft stuff off of it that I had thrown on it, and after. So what it has thrown me into realizing that I have some people coming because this wedding is in mid-August. I have a month for the unexpected cleaning up of my creative studio because I dumped everything on that particular desk. It didn't have drawers. It's just an open, modern, tiered corner desk. So, I had stacks, like some totes on the bottom were stacked, books on one shelf stacked, a plethora of bins and overflowing projects and all that. So one big tote, I've cleared it off, and the desk will be gone this weekend with a couple of other pieces of furniture. So I'll be doing some rearranging because this tote did have quilts in it that were being stored. So I have to buy some more totes and rearrange. What I think I want to do is buy a IKEA storage unit, just like the one I have on the other wall. And I believe it has those bins. I think it'll hold everything. I'll leave maybe one of them open for some of my favorite books that I want to keep in that room. I have a lot of sewing and quilting books that I have in other places of the house that are not as accessible, but I have them and it's not too bad to get to them. So I need to do that. So this sewing room has been an unexpected cleaning up, and it is going to be a work in progress because I don't know when I'm going to get to IKEA again. So I'm going to make do with what I have. Now, what's in that room that's challenging is that it's very small. It is the width between a chimney spot and the outside wall is exactly the size of a twin-size bed. It's not that big. On the wall where the chimney goes to the door, it has this IKEA storage unit that's up on a vertical. And it has 6 or 8 spots with bins that pull out. Then there's a door, and then the other wall, that space that's opposite of where the chimney and twin bed space is, my design wall. Then a tiny closet that goes into Narnia. It is a deep, skinny closet of a 100-year-old home that goes back under the stairs that go to the second floor. So it's under the staircase skinny closet that's totally useless. It's got boxes in it. It doesn't have even a place to hang clothes. It's just kind of a storage hole is what I call it. I can stand up in it. and it's just wide enough for me to walk in. So I don't walk in there because, so it's got like things left over from my kids' childhood stored in the back, and an old bookcase with some of the books that were left. Most of the books that they enjoyed were actually borrowed, and I gave them back, or a few special ones they took with them. And then you go against the outside wall of the room and has a window and a register return right there. So what I have done is, in that space for the twin bed, that bed is out and in another guest room, I put a tool bench in several years ago. A regular tool bench that you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, and filled it up with all of my quilting, cutting, measuring, all that business. I have it has a bench with a pegboard and an overhead storage that I put all like paper piecing and interfacing stuff in the top. And in all the drawers are the rotary cutters, pins, tools, and underneath is the storage space. And so now I have a gap between the end of the tool bench and the outer wall, and by the window. Still got to cram an ironing board in there. I have lots of totes. And I have my great-grandmother's Martha Washington, my mother called it, sewing cabinet. So I think I'm going to put some of the smaller things that were on that desk in the sewing cabinet, probably right under the window. I think that sewing cabinet will fit, and I'm going to cover the top with a quilt so that it, or a knitted thing, or maybe even just a linen towel so that it doesn't fade in the sun. And, just kind of jostle things around and have the ironing board kind of in front of the design wall if needed. I haven't really thought it out. So overall, that is going to be my unexpected work in progress. And it's going to be a very long-term work in progress because IKEA is 4 hours from here, and I hate paying shipping and handling for something so heavy. It is so heavy, that storage unit. And I want to measure the space out when the room is empty and get all my things all in a row, all my ducks in a row, all my measurements in place, all of my stuff sorted through. I threw away a bunch of old printed out patterns, things I'm never going to use again, and gone through my supplies. And really, I don't have a big stash. I weeded through that this spring and summer of all of my crafting supplies. So really, I'm getting down to the nitty gritty, and it really does fit in one large oversized tote for what was on that desk, plus a couple of little small totes underneath. So I think for now, I'm probably going to rearrange the room to stack those totes up properly and maybe cover it with the quilt so it doesn't look so heinous, and think about the space and see if I can fit in another one of those IKEA storage units. Then I will have made crafting nirvana. I will have achieved a goal of 32-year epic proportions in this marriage of mine, where I have my creative stuff kind of contained to one room of the house, with the exception of the sewing machine and the dining room table. And all of my finished quilts are on my enclosed front porch, and that's set up as an old-fashioned parlor reading area, aka the dumping ground, also because I have a lot of old furniture out there, and it has a very antique vibe with the old buffet and a very old bookcase. And but unfortunately, it's too hot in the summer and it's too cold in the winter. There wasn't a very well thought out space, this Michigan front porch. So that's really currently, my dilemma is, in the dog days of summer, when I don't want to do anything and I'm leisurely taking my time, I found myself in a moment where I'm really going to have to get this cleaned up. And I'm really going to have to get a move on in cleaning up the rest of the house a bit. I've been doing all the regular housework, but I need to pull the furniture from the wall and vacuum and do that deep cleaning stuff that you hate doing, that you wind up doing every couple times a year, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, every quarter. And this is going to motivate me to get cracking on it. Now, allergy season is around, so that's part of the reason. Whenever you move all this stuff, you get dust, and maybe I should just hire a teenager for the day to come and do all the vacuuming and dusting. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I can find one. That was just a sudden inspiration. We'll see what I can find. I may find someone who can help me with that. So in the meantime, I'm going through my stuff and I am working on my WIPS in a slow, methodical, and leisurely way. I really have no deadlines or reasons to rush, and I'm finding that I need to force myself to slow down. I've got lots of things started. I'm not committing to any more things. I'm going to enjoy the process. I've been having such fun reacquainting myself with macrame, and I'm going to do the dip dyeing of the ends for the ombre look. But what I've just really been enjoying, I did a improv wall hanging for myself on a thinner yarn, and I really like it, but I really want the look of big chunky yarn, I think, for future things. I also have been surfing the Pinterest boards, and whoa, there is amazing macrame things that have come on those boards in the last couple years. I saw a really cool Scandinavian wreath made out of embroidery hoops that's sleek and modern and has wooden beads. And lo and behold, as I was moving all my stuff around from that desk dumping ground, I found wooden beads I bought last year for another project. So I'm going to recycle those thoughts and put the beads into some macrame stuff. And I'm really, really going to have fun with it. I've been playing around with different knots and really looking at how the aesthetic is very similar from the 1970s, but how it has been brought up to date for modern decor and modern living. And I really love that big, chunky, bold look. It's just so cool. And that is what I have been up to. I'm going to get myself ready for my day job, and I may do a chapter 2 on this podcast, but I want you to kind of look around and be okay with the fact that, everything's a work in progress. Most of us don't have a destination arrival that doesn't lead us to another destination. And that's where I realized this summer, I'm really good with that. So for now, I will bid you a good day. And chapter 2 on my works in progress will come back tomorrow. So, WIPS. I just decided this summer that I discovered that everything is a work in progress. I don't have projects or make changes of any sort that are like my favorite design shows, like Trading Spaces, where you come in, you strip it down to nothing, and you have it rebuilt in a short 30-minute or 1-hour show and have it totally complete. And it's taken me a while to figure out that that's okay, that everything is slowly in process, and that sometimes I just call it good for now, and that I will continue to make changes on the room one step at a time, or make changes, in everyday life one step at a time. So I hope that you enjoyed this chat about WIPS and about my works in progress. And stay tuned. I'll try to share links in the show notes about some pictures of what a disaster zone my craft space was and how I'm making slow progress with it, as well as some of the other projects that I spoke about today. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter if you want to get a twice-a-month update on what's happening with My Creative Corner 3, as well as knowing you can leave comments on my blog at mycreativecorner3.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.